Good evening, good evening, good evening. I just kept you waiting for a bit because I can. I've got that fucking power over you all now. I can keep you fucking waiting. You all wait for me now. I'm just joking with you all. Hope you're all watching the stream live if you can. If you can't and you're watching it back, watch it live next time, you bunch of fuckers. I'm going to make a bit of a stupid drink while we start because old fucking Mark burnt out culture got me thinking of the fucking crazy drinks we used to drink back in 90s and fucking early 2000s. He was drinking Snakebite, weren't he, the other night? In fact, I said, oh man, I've poured that like a right cunt. So we're going to have to let that die down a bit. Hope you're all well. Listening to Boris Johnson's advice of staying home but going to work if you need to. I'm confused. I'm just going to fucking stay home. I'll tell you all now. Staying home. Mainly because fucking the dickheads who are selling plaster want fucking 60 quid a bag instead of fucking 10 quid a bag. I've been watching people fucking argue about it all day on Facebook. And I just thought, you know what? Fuck it. I'll sit home a little bit longer. It's not Snakebite and Black. It's not called that. Grush, you're fucking wrong. That is known as Diesel. Snakebite and Black is known as Diesel. So we've got whatever that is, because it's not a fucking half and it's not a pint of fucking lager. Fucking shitty lager. I'm going to put a fucking blue WKD in with it. When it settles down a bit more, I'll fill it up. Stay cunt. And that is known as a Shrek when I was fucking back in the day. But yeah, Snakebite and Black was definitely Diesel. Anyway, I've got people waiting in the back ready to come on. They've both been on before. But we didn't hear enough from them, so I'm bringing them back. And the first person I'm bringing in to say hello is... Introduce yourself, say hello.
How you doing, guys? Alex from Nintendo Arcade.
And we've got a new backdrop there. We've got a new backdrop behind you, haven't we?
No, it's the same one, mate.
It wasn't. You was in a fucking different house last time we was here.
I haven't moved yet. 2 weeks' time.
Oh, 2 weeks. You haven't moved yet. You weren't showing the arcades last time. Is this because you want to show off to, what's it called? Retro Dave, who was showing off his arcades when he was on?
Bit of competition between me and Dave. No, it's just I like to change things around. Well, everything else is gone, mate. That's all I've got in this room is what you see behind me. Everything else is boxed up. So them
are the one-up cabs, yeah, like what Daz Conus Deloro's got, yeah? Them are the one-up cabs there behind you?
Yeah, they're the one. Bless him. Yeah, no, they're not one-up cabs, mate. No, I wouldn't have that. No, not my thing.
Not your thing. You're all OG, yeah. And you requested this guy to be on with you. Fuck knows why. Fuck knows why.
We go back a long way.
Well, that's just because he's fucking been around forever. He's like God's dog, isn't he?
Yeah, so, he's changed a lot as well, man. He's not the same guy we used to know.
I know, mate.
He's a different guy.
Let's bring him in, man. You'll know him straight away from his unique haircut. It's nearly as unique as mine. Say hello.
Hello, guys.
We can actually see you this time. You were camera shy last time.
I wasn't. No, I had this webcam was stashed away in the arse end of the garage, so I had to dig it out. But
tell everyone who you are.
My Brentford flag up.
Brentford. TootyUK from TootyUK. Funnily enough.
Admin on Retro Realm and every other fucking gaming thing on Facebook.
No, I'm not that ingrained.
You're not?
But no, you'll have to forget if it starts losing the light. This camera's shit. It's just a cheap webcam, so you know it's not great in low level lighting.
I think the people want
good, you know.
You're better with darker light anyway. That's for sure. It might be an improvement, man. I've poured this fucking drink like right idiot. Look at the fucking state of it, man.
What the hell is that?
It's a lager and WKD. It's known as a Shrek.
Yeah, I remember the Shrek. I've seen you pouring it. Yeah.
Yeah. Back in the day, man.
What would you call a half a bitter and half a lager?
Fucking the shits the next day.
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse.
I've never had one of them. I used to drink bitter back in the day. I'll tell a little story actually about bitter. The reason I stopped drinking bitter wasn't because of me, it's because of my mate. Now, where I'm from, everyone drinks Banksy's bitter. And my mate had a bad pint of Banksy's bitter and fucking shat himself in the nightclub, man. And we had to go back in the taxi with him, and it stunk. And I never drunk fucking bitter since then.
Bad
Yeah,
pipes.
You're both lager drinkers.
Now I'm a cider.
No, he's a gin drinker. Dana is gin or cider.
Anything alcoholic, really. I'll have lager if I've got to. But now I'll stay away from the bitter unless it's Batham's bitter. If you're a local lad, you know what Batham's is. But yeah, because my mate shit himself after a bad pint of Banksy's. I never took one ever again. And we were in the back of the taxi. There was me, him, my other mate, my mate's girlfriend, and we hadn't told her that he'd shit himself, right? And all she kept on about was the smell. And we was going, what smell? There's no smell. Obviously, there fucking was. She was going, it smells like someone shit themselves. And we were just like going, shut up, man, because our mate was proper embarrassed about it. But that's the story. See, you never thought you'd start this stream listening to one of my mates shitting themselves. You know, this isn't some high quality, high production stream we have here. This is low end of the gutter. This is.
Oh,
do you remember when talking about shitting themselves and drinking? Do you remember when the norovirus first came out and it kicked off like a couple of years back? I'm not sure if there was a video, if there was a story about a guy who stood at the bar and he literally just shit himself at the bar and didn't even know he was doing it.
Oh,
his arse just fell out.
Oh man, that's disgusting. I know there's one person in the comments here who's going to enjoy us talking about shitting ourselves. I won't mention his name in case it embarrasses him, but I imagine he's truly enjoying this.
Cheers, Gav. Took years off him.
I was just about to
though.
Can we talk about your haircut a bit? Because fuck, it's better from that angle. To be fair,
it's just hair, mate. It grows back.
I know.
It's that or look like Wurzel Gummidge. What do you think Alex has got that on?
Fucking mine's terrible, mate. I tell you.
I was watching Carry On. Which one was it? Carry On Doctors or something yesterday. And because you posted that about Alex laughing like Sid James,
yeah,
I couldn't fucking get Alex's picture out of my head when Sid James was fucking walking through the hospital. That's the
my old man actually looks like Sid James.
Okay. We've got a question before This is my fucking show, Darren. This isn't fucking Meet the Tuber. This is my show. I ask the fucking questions here. Anyway, please ask both their opinions on One Up Cab. So we'll go to Stu first. We won't break his heart fucking straight away.
To be honest, like I've said it before in my video, I've got no problem with them at all. I kind of get where they sit in terms of, you know, from an item. I wouldn't necessarily say they're for collectors. A bit like the mini consoles aren't. They're not really for collectors. People that want to have a tinker. Maybe they've got a games room, they've got a pool table, they've got a darts board, and they remember a Gallagher or they remember Space Invaders. That's kind of where I see them fitting in that scenario. But I know I watch quite a lot of different channels, especially in the US and North America, Canada. And a lot of guys there are building...
US, North America, Canada? That's like fucking...
Sorry, USA and Canada. Oh, North America's one of the same thing. Yeah,
cheers,
right.
mate. Fucking...
Oh, cheers, geography teacher. Fucking hell.
No, I'm just saying the Americans...
What did you get in geography at GCSE?
I didn't. They banned me from doing it.
There you go. They
didn't want me to go on the school trips. Carry on.
Disaster. Drink your Shrek and shut up.
You look like fucking Shrek.
I fucking will do in a minute. I don't know what I'm saying now. I've lost a train of thought. But essentially, some people have built whole rooms around them, and they do enjoy them, and they've got all the, you know, the sort of uplift things and the pedestals and stuff like that. And they mod them, to high heaven. The modding side of it, I kind of get a little bit, but I don't really understand. If you're going to mod something, then mod a proper arcade machine. But each to their own, you know. Look, at least it's gaming, and whatever they're doing, they're enjoying it. It's their money, and no one's got any right to tell anybody what to do with their own fucking shit. I've said that for years and years and years. If you want to fucking sell a lot and blow it all on coke and hookers, then I'm right behind you.
And I'll be behind you. Right,
you always are behind me.
To quote Mortal Kombat, Alex, finish him.
Come here. Well, guys, I mean, you know, whatever I say, it doesn't matter. It's whatever you're into. And but since I've been doing the game room tours, you know, everyone comes into this hobby at different angles. You know what I mean? Everyone's into their own thing. And that's what's great about the hobby, right? For me, a lot of it's nostalgia. And there's no nostalgia with the one-up machines for me, Daz, personally. And if I was going to have some sort of main setup, I'd have like a jammer cab. I mean, for the same sort of price, you can get jammer cab. You can get like a little cabaret jammer cab in there and stick a retro Pi or a 61 PCB in there, and you can play all different games and change the marquee over. So you could have, you know, what seems from the front an original arcade in an old wooden jammer cab. Or, you know, an egret. I don't know why you got rid of your egrets, because they were great cabs. But for those,
I like them.
I just don't see the attraction. You can, because they're LCD screens as well. You can do all of that on a laptop. Do you know what I mean? And have the space for, you know, a real machine. You know, a jammer cab. You can get them upstairs. You get a jammer cab upstairs easily. You know, which is much cooler in my eyes. Then you could put side art on it, and at least it's original with a CRT and it's authentic. So for me, they don't do anything for me whatsoever. But, you know, like Tooty said, each their own, and everyone comes at this different ways. But I've seen the build quality of those things as well, and they look atrociously built. You know, I saw one in Costco, and the control panel overlay was already worn out. You know, and it only been on display a couple of months.
They have fixed that, haven't they, though? Because they actually allow like a perspex top now. So they are evolving them, and they are putting like backlit marquees and stuff like that. And I think a couple of them might be able to be retrofitted.
The only cabinet I can see an attraction in is when you've got unique controls, like the Star Wars. It's got the yoke, which you can't imitate on MAME anyway.
No.
So I can totally appreciate people wanting to own that, and that's got all the side art and stuff, and looks kind of cool. But the Space Invaders one doesn't look anything like the original. And you're probably better off with one of those quarter-size numbskull arcade machines. At least they are exact replicas, you know, and they're actually quite playable. But the Street Fighter one and Space Invaders one, you just don't do anything for me, Daz. But mate, you know, each their own. If you're happy, then that's the most important thing, you know. And you're playing them, which is important.
Yeah.
You know, most people buy shit and they don't even play it. At least Daz playing them, which is cool. But how many can you get in a skip, Daz?
So that's Conus Deloro 2.0.
It's gone now. Daz is left.
Deleting all the channel content. He'll be back in 6 months at 3.0. Daz, my opinion on them is I think they're all right. And when you want to sell one, when you're changing your collection again, I'll buy one cheap off you.
You might be too late to that party, Dana.
Why has he already started selling them?
Has Daz replied at all? Is he following up to that?
Yeah, he's said, have you tried getting a cab up the stairs? Which I imagine you probably have, because I've seen you lug them and maul them at Revival.
Yeah.
Missing the point. They are what they are.
Yeah, I've got machines down. Well, you've seen the raids I've done. We've got them from derelict houses downstairs and stuff like that. I've got Space Invaders down the stairs and iRobot down the stairs. Crazy.
You've got cabs from a bloody fallen to pieces building France. I've seen that video.
I've had them everywhere. But Daz, I recommend. I mean, get a jammer cab, dude. Just get a really cool, like Lordsvale, MVS Lordsvale. They're quite a small cabinet. You can convert them to jammer as well as MVS, and you can get an MVS 190 games in one, and you've got jammer. You can swap boards around. That's more fun for me. You know, picking up PCBs and trying out new FPGA boards and stuff like that. That's a cooler way to go.
I think if I can just chip in here, Alex, I think the reason why Daz like the one-ups is because it is literally only 1 or 2 games. And I think I alluded that to in one of my videos. You know, with EverDrives and stuff, sometimes there is 2 such a thing as too much. And when you've only got 1 or 2 games, it kind of forces his hand.
Yeah,
Maybe, I don't know.
He might, jammer cab. I mean, my jammer cabs have got 1 board in there at a time.
Yeah, but then it's the overhead, isn't it? In terms of like if they go pop and stuff, and it's, you know, I mean, you're more you're fucking way more schooled in this. Just all I ever hear with people collecting machines, especially Craig's here again, it's when things go wrong, and they go wrong more often than not, it's time, money, and effort.
But there are alternatives now. You've got the people doing the FPGA boards, which are awesome. You've also got Mister, and if you've got MAME, what a lot of people do, just put their top 50 favourite games on. Instead of having 4,000 games, you just pick 4 of the favourite ones, and they load up straight away. Yeah, but let's be honest. Look, who's going to have that much control when you can have it all? You're going to have it all, ain't you? Well, yeah.
That's the problem.
Bar top. You know, the bar tops are cool. Yeah. You know, I just think for the money you're paying for a bit of MDF and a flat screen TV, and his one that already turned up with a line down it, so they're not using quality flat screen TVs in it either, are they? Do you know what I mean? You can pick one of those up from a charity shop, you know, stick that in there. Yeah, probably a better one, but you know,
I just liken them, like I said before, very much akin to the machines. It's a different target audience. They're not really targeting the collectors. The collectors are latched onto them. And
Daz is a collector. Daz is a collector, and
he's saying now he wants to just play stuff, which I get, 100% get that. But again, going back to what you said, Alex, I think that if they're really clever, if they are really clever now, like with the Star Wars, with the yoke, if you start bringing spinners in and stuff like that, and the track balls, then you're talking something that's a different kettle of fish.
Yeah. Yeah, but
you know
let's face it, look, Daz is not the casual market, is he? He's a collector, well-known collector and YouTuber. He knows his stuff. He set up the egrets before, and he had Daz has
been to a lot of groups now to try and help himself, to try and get out of the collecting habit. Collectors Anonymous, and now you're just pulling him straight back in. He was doing so well with the 1-up cabs.
Well, I'd say sell them, get yourself a nice little jammer cab or an egret again. Maybe not an egret again, but you can get a nice small little cabaret jammer cab. You'll have more fun with that, I think, playing around with different boards and get into the hobby, get on UK VAC, and there's loads of options. You can even put artwork on it. You know, it's just so much more fun, I think, because it's your own. You make it your own then. Because he's buying those anyway, making his own. Do you know what I mean? But they're poorly built.
But the poorly built for a certain market. I think that's the point I'm trying to make. They're not really, you know, they're not built like the old machine, which are going to go in. Hey,
I don't think of Daz as the casual market. He's a proper gamer.
No, but I'm not talking about Daz. I'm talking about the machines themselves. The machines themselves aren't intended for that market. They're intended for a casual player that's going to play them. Which is why when you get these collectors that have them, they've rubbed all the artwork off within like fucking 4 weeks. Yeah. Because they were just really intended for like, we'll play them once a week. You know, in their, like I say, in their like man cave or whatever.
Yeah, it just doesn't do anything for me.
No, I know.
Can we not mention man cave on the stream, please?
No, but it did say there's only 1 cave, not 2 caves.
What I'd say is, if I was Daz, I'd have probably just got 1 and then banged a pie in it or something. If you just wanted it to play games, have 1, bang something in it. I can't understand the multiples, but knowing Daz, I know exactly why he's got them because he's never had them before. So once he's scratched this itch, and he'll bring something else in, and he'll just say,
I hope so. That's
admit it. He's all or nothing.
We did a meet the YouTuber. You know, I've met Daz a few times. He's a top bloke, and I just feel he deserves better. You know, something better than
that. Brilliant. I'm not too sure if this is a question or a statement by Rob Gernaldinho. At what point in console history did you realise that is as near as perfect arcade ports had the arcades come home? So we'll ask Stu and you. We'll go to you first, Alex, to prove you're not. Yeah, we'll go to you first. We'll prove you're not.
Street Fighter straight away. So I remember, never forget, I was waiting for a bus in Richmond High Street, and they had the Super Nintendo set up in Dixon's, and in the front window they had Street Fighter, and that was the day I realised the arcades had come home. It was arcade perfect in my mind. And
so is that Mega Drive or SNES? SNES, I'm guessing for you, innit?
Oh, SNES all the way. Yeah, my brother had a Mega Drive, so we had a SNES and a Mega Drive in the same room. But you know, I owned the SNES and he owned the Mega Drive, so I naturally bought SNES games. But you know, I like both consoles. You always had arguments over what was the best, but for me, and I've got a Sega Mega Drive EverDrive sitting here, and I've gone through a lot of the games, and I still feel now that the games are better on the Super Nintendo. You know, that's just my opinion. You know, there's a lot of shooters on there that have no slowdown. People always argue they've got slowdown. There's a few that have made really well for the Super Nintendo. Axlay is one of the best shoot 'em ups I've ever played. I mean, it's just an absolute awesome game. It really is incredible game.
I mean, games like Turtles in Time as well. You know, that's not too far off from what was in the arcade, other than the 4-player option. It's a very good, and a lot of the animation and stuff are in there and slightly improved. Type quieter, Tooty, you fucking noisy bastard.
I mean, the Mega Drive had the arcade sounds, didn't it? I mean, you know, Sega were more dominant in the arcades back in the day. So owning the Sega Mega Drive, it feels like the arcades have come more into the home. But the Super Nintendo was doing stuff that it was arcade-like, but it was doing its own thing at the same time, something completely different and something completely new. You know, it was a breath of fresh air, really. I think the Super Nintendo.
I mean, I agree that, but I think when it was probably, Rob says perfected, I would probably say the Dreamcast was, once it was perfection, like, you know, that's the same game, if not better at home than what I'm playing in the arcade. But definitely came home probably the SNES time, but perfection I'd probably say was the Dreamcast. That's my opinion.
Yeah, you're a little bit younger than me, probably though, Dave.
Little bit. Fucking hell.
I'm a lot older.
Wearing about 2 grey hairs.
So for me,
I dyed mine, so I fitted in with you old fuckers.
Yeah.
So for me, growing up anyway, I left the arcades in the late 80s anyway and got into music. And I remember when Street Fighter came out.
Was that when you were in excess?
Oh, dear. You love it, don't you?
Them photos were brilliant. I actually thought, like, when I saw them photos, I thought, why is that sharing photos of, like, people who were in films in the 80s and stuff like that?
No, that's Stuart.
That's not me. What was the question again, anyway? I forgot it.
Arcades coming home.
No, put the question back up again.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Stuart.
Because it can be read in a couple of different ways. When I sort of first seen it, and then Alex.
There you go.
At what point in conversation did you realise that as near as perfect arcade porter? So, see, when I read that first, I said when it had already come home because it was the AES, the Neo Geo AES.
Well, no one could afford that.
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. So it's kind of like, well, you know, how do you want to? So I would concur with what you said initially. I remember, and I don't know if I told this story before, when Street Fighter 2 first came out on the Super Nintendo. Me and my mate John, we went to an importer in Coventry, in Shambles Arcades, knocked down now. And we went half. We went 50-50 to buy Street Fighter, the American version, on release. That's how amazing we were at it. But I think what Gernaldinho was probably talking about is, again, it's all different. It's generational, isn't it? I think the PlayStation, I know what Dana said about the Dreamcast, but before that, I think that the PlayStation really killed off the arcades in terms of narrowing that gap between the two more than any.
Yeah.
And I know I'd seen Rob said Ridge Race, and Ridge Race was really the one. It's like, fucking, that's amazing what they've managed to do with that machine. But no, as a youth, as a kid, definitely Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Like I say, between me, I think it cost us nearly £100 to buy it between us, and we played that game to fucking. I've told this story before. We played it to death, to the point where we literally exhausted the whole thing. And I bought it off. I paid John out, and I took the game back, and I traded it for Zelda: A Link to the Past on US NTSC.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and that really started
the AES came out about the same time, didn't it? As a SNES.
But as you said, mate, it was a fingered legend. You know, it was like the PC Engine when you used to read Super Play and all them other magazines and Mean Machines. You know, oh my god, the amount of times I drooled and just like kept reading the same pages, look at the same screenshots.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, that was the pinnacle of 16-bit era. It was just, where could it go from there? You know, just couldn't believe where the graphics were going to go, really. I never got into the N64. I think I was travelling a lot at that time. But I remember coming back, and then my mate showed me Tomb Raider on the PS1, and I was gobsmacked and blown away by the fact that she could look up and down and round the corner. I thought, well, I've never seen that in the game before, because before it was Doom, wasn't it? You sort of just do that.
Yeah.
But the first time you could actually peer around the corner of a corridor, I thought was really impressive.
So so with the N64, when that released, I never got that on release. I remember distinctly there was a point where I can't remember, it was early days of the internet. I used to have NTL broadband back then, and I remember finding, and I've still got it. I did a video on it. It's called the Z64, which was basically a clone device, which used zip drives, zip disks to play N64 ROMs. And I bought an N64 just for that, so that I could literally play all dodgy games. That's all it was. And it's not too dissimilar with the PlayStation. Once the PlayStation had a mod chip, I then went out and bought one from Toys R Us and modded my own one. I scared the shit out of me because it was like £350-400 or whatever. And I did it all myself, and I was shitting myself because it was like I burnt a copy of Ridge Racer, and when I seen that game boot up, it was like, oh my god, I've done it. And that was it. And obviously the Dreamcast came after that, and the Dreamcast, once they got Utopia, the boot disc, it was game over. I mean, I gave Rich Turner literally, you know, like the old laundry bags, the massive laundry bags, full of just literally copied Dreamcast games, all. Every single territory, Japan, USA, UK, just give them in.
Yeah, Dylan makes
still
good
doing
point.
it. We're still copying the games, selling them on the quiet.
No, I'm just doing the PS2 stuff now for people.
And
I've
Saturn,
seen your stall, Stuart. Stuart, I've seen your stall and all your copied games you're selling.
Mate, you ain't been to any markets near us.
Anyway, Dylan makes a good point. PlayStation killed off the arcades. It was also when bigger games like Final Fantasy VII, which is shit, and Metal Gear Solid, which is really good.
Can't say that.
Changed how games.
I did actually own Final Fantasy VII.
I've owned them. I've never played them because they're fucking boring.
I was a huge. I imported Final Fantasy 3 and the SNES again from a different shop in Coventry, Asian shop it was, and I shit myself because I put down £80. I had to lend half the money off an older lad who was fully employed at my old man's shop because I used to work Saturdays as a butcher's helper, and his name was Steve, and he lent me half the money. I remember shit myself. I think I've just give this guy 80-odd quid back then, but he come through, man.
But I agree with what Dylan's saying. The games got bigger than we're actually in the arcade. I don't know what Alex has done. He's
production values, yes. I mean, the money invested in them games is phenomenal.
I bet he's had a phone call again and answered it. We'll go on to the question from Sega Satterland. Dana, question, mate. Guest favourite N64 game? It's F-Zero for him. So, Stu, favourite N64 game?
See, people would say GoldenEye, aren't they? I didn't really get GoldenEye.
That's what I was going to say. It's probably one of the few things I agree with Pete Armour on this week, and that's GoldenEye. I agree.
No,
it's the only game I played. It's the only game I played as a kid because I never owned an N64.
I liked F-Zero. Must admit, F-Zero was a really good racer. It took me a while to get used to Mario, especially that 3D effect. I really like Blast Corps. And people are going to sort of say, "Oh, Ocarina of Time," and this, that, and the other. But I think for me, because I'm so old, it took me a while to get used to that 3D environment, especially coming from Link to the Past. But yeah, I mean, it's, people sort of slate the N64, but if you cut away all the chaff and you leave the wheat, there's some absolutely stellar titles there.
As I say, the only
Beetle Racing Adventure, there's one. I spent loads of time on that game.
I never owned one. I only used to play my mates when we went round, and it was purely a multiplayer experience. So we played. Hold on. You're the one who fucked off. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Why can't I hear anyone?
Can you hear us now, Alex?
It's coming in too quick. I said that to you before. Alex, stop coming too quick. Give it a chance to load.
I'll kick him out.
Okay, I can hear you, but I can't hear Dana.
No, I'll kick him out and he'll have to come back in.
I can't hear you.
Just give it 5 minutes and then come back. Not literally 5 minutes, but you know what I mean. Give it a while and then come back in. But yet, don't click the link too quick, because I found that with my camera. If I clicked it too quick, it didn't load the camera up.
I've kicked him back out. He can join back in. But yeah, the only time I played N64 was with my mates. So I only played the multiplayer games. I played GoldenEye, and we played Mario Kart. So if I had to pick, I'd say
Mario Kart. You know, even the early Mario Parties, they're really good games. You know, even the kids, we used to play them back in the day.
I'm not. I like Mario as like in the platformers. I do like Sunshine a bit. I like Sunshine a little bit, but I still don't see it. It's not really like a proper Mario game. I don't like the gimmicky thing with the fucking.
Oh, Sunshine was great.
You know, it's a good game, but
the water effects in that are brilliant.
Yeah, but I wanted like a proper, like almost like what they've done with the Wii. Let's see if he's fucking sorted it out now.
Well, you better, because I need to go and get a drink.
Can you hear me now?
Top boy.
Right, I'm going to go get a drink. I'll leave it to Alex.
Okay, so Alex, you've got this question to answer. Favourite N64 game? It's from Sega Saturn lad, Scott.
All right, Scott, how you doing, mate? Favourite N64 game? As it was a console I never had back in the day, when I did collect for it, 5 years ago, I didn't have that many games for it. And I think, it has to be either Robotron 64 or Majora's Mask. They're the games I liked. Thought they were awesome.
See, I was saying I do have an N64 now, like a Japanese one. That's saying because I got it cheap. But I only used to play multiplayers because my mate used to have them. So we used to go around his on a Thursday, few beers, Chinese, play N64. So I only used to play GoldenEye, and I used to play Mario Kart sort of thing. So I imagine you said you got out of like gaming back that sort of era. So is that why you didn't own one when you were younger, you're saying?
Yeah, I didn't own one. I was travelling at the time, so I wasn't really into games that much anyway. Sort of the mid-90s, late 90s, I wasn't really into gaming. So I only discovered a lot of those N64 games when it had its shelf life, and since I owned a 3DS, I played Majora's Mask and really enjoyed it. I don't have an N64 anymore, but I do plan to get another one because I did enjoy playing Robotron. I thought that was really cool because I love Robotron. But yeah, I quite fancy a Jaguar as well. And there's not many games on that, but the few games that there are on it and the homebrew games that are really cool, I want to own the Jaguar and the N64. For the handful of good games that are on it, I will get another one. But yeah, Robotron 64 and F-Zero was cool, actually. I did enjoy that. But for the Zelda, man, the Zeldas were cool on that.
Nice one. I'm also looking at one of the few consoles I've not had and or ever owned is a Jaguar, and I'm looking to have one of them. I've had a little play of one. It was at Revival. I didn't like the TV it was on, though. It was too big. It made it look fucking really ugly, if you know what I mean. It needed to be on a smaller screen.
Yeah, well, I picked up Tempest with the Atari controller in CEX before Christmas. I think I showed it in one of my videos, and it was 50 quid for the two, for the controller and for the game, and it had the spinner on it as well.
Right.
I thought for 50 quid, you can't go wrong for that. So I've got the game, I've got the controller, but I haven't got the console yet. But I've been looking at Atari Age. They do loads of really cool homebrew games like Llama Soft, Jeff Minter's game. I really want to play. And there's a really cool Asteroids type game for the Jaguar I want to play. So sort of the arcade kind of conversions, I think those sort of consoles are really good for.
Nice one. So we'll come back to homebrews a bit later because I know you like your homebrews on obviously the Vectrex and other things. So we'll talk a bit about them later. But we'll have to answer Steve, Retro and Lim's question. Any game back in the day you played once, then shoved it back on the shelf, never to be played again. So we'll go to Stu first because I imagine there's a lot that he just shoved back on the shelf.
It's all of them. It's all the fucking lot. Take your pick.
So I think he's saying, what game did you pick up? Think this was really, really shit. I'm never playing it again, sort of thing. So Stu can answer first, being as he's been on a beer break.
Oh God. I was in like a buyer's regret thing. Is that what we're sort of saying?
Yeah, like you've bought it. It's really, really shit.
Oh, I know. This is going back to Jesus. I think it's either not Jesus.
Jesus.
No. Jesus is here, my child. No, going back to I think it's either James, TNT, and or somebody else mentioned this game, and it's ISS Pro. A few people have mentioned it in the videos on the PlayStation. Now I remember distinctly. Well, I loved ISS International Deluxe on the SNES because you had like Valderrama and stuff like that, and the players looked like the characters looked like the players.
Gazza had the blonde hair from
everybody. You could pick them out. What was the Bulgarian guy with the bald head?
Bulgarian. No, Stoichkov, was he?
No, he plays for some. Anyway, but I was like, and me and my brother and his mates, we all used to play the SNES version. Loved it. Used to some right arguments on that. And then when I got when I had the PlayStation, or was it the N64? I can't remember, one or the other. I said, I've got the new ISS game. And then it was in 3D. And it was like, fucking this is shit. I just wanted it back as 2D again. I just wanted it back as 2D, horizontal, none of this fucking 3D bollocks. And I never played it. Absolutely destroyed.
Lechkov, they're saying, was the player.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
So, same question to you then, Alex. You know, what game?
Obviously, can't think of one. I really can't.
You've never played a shit game in your life and thought, I'm never playing that again?
Yeah, plenty, but I can't think of one exactly.
Robotron.
I don't know. Fucking. I'll tell you what. You know, I really like Blood Bowl as a board game, and they've started to release Blood Bowl on the latest consoles, and I really do love the game. I think it's a fantastic turn-based game, and I thought Mutant League for the Mega Drive was the same sort of thing, and it wasn't. It was absolute shit.
Yeah.
And I never played it ever again, and I was expecting something like Blood Bowl, but it was nothing like that at all, and it was just an awful game.
It's where they take an IP or a TV show or something, and you think, oh man, and you have visions in your own head, don't you? And they don't, they don't transpire into the game that you think they're going to be, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it just wasn't anything like I was expecting. I think that the artwork, gave the wrong sort of cover, really. Just wasn't what I was expecting. Yeah, never played that again.
Well, Time Killers. He's saying Time Killers, isn't he, Steve? That's crap in the arcades anyway.
Time Killers. Yeah. I'm not really into the gun games.
No, it's one beat 'em up where you can chop people's limbs off.
Another question for you both. It's from my mate Pete, Mr. SNES-tastic. So hello, Pete. Question for Alex and Stu. Do you have any interest in the Intellivision? And I'm going to butcher this. Amico. Is it Amico or something like that? Amigo. Is that the new...
Amigo, eh?
You can answer first, Stu. Now you're on the left.
I don't know what the Intellivision is. I'm assuming the Amico means it's some sort of like hacked fucking shite emulator thing.
It's some new system that's coming out in it.
No.
I've seen the controllers, and they look like Nokia 3210s with no buttons on.
Well, at least they're being destructible.
Yeah.
I don't get with the television. Wasn't there like about 10 different television plug and play things?
Yeah, I had loads of them.
But on a similar vein to what Pete's sort of saying here, nice to see you, Pete. What's that modular system that's coming out that they're all spunking over? It's going to cost you about fucking 10 grand to get every single module to play every single platform. I can't think what it's called now, but basically you buy the basic model, and if you want to play Mega Drive, you have to buy a separate model with another 300 quid. And if you want to play CD games, you have to pay another 400 quid.
Oh, I think I've seen vaguely pictures of it, yeah, where you can put any CD in and play the...
Apparently so, but the fact of the matter is, N64 really hasn't been emulated that well at the minute. Sega Saturn hasn't been emulated that well at the minute. So how they're meant to be selling these modules, I have no idea. But that's it. The Poly Mega. But
I don't know, but I think you should both be interested in the Amico because Retro and Lim Steve says it looks like a commode, so it could have dual use for you both.
Well, it can't be worse than the Jag CD. But Pete, mate, in essence, mate, no, not really. I think the television isn't that really expensive either, is it? I mean, I know Scott Sega Zombie is churning out a half decent collection off the back.
I don't think it's emulation. I think it's almost like a new standalone system that's going to have its own games released for it.
Like the Spectrum Next?
Bit similar, but the controllers are like two fucking phones with no buttons. That I've seen. I've not looked into it. I've just seen like the odd screenshot here and there. So I've not looked into it. Is this the one that's been in preparation for ages, or is that the Atari one that's been in preparation for fucking ages that's not been released? I don't know.
I don't know.
I'll try and avoid new systems. How about you? Do you know anything, Alex, or are you just going to tell me to fuck off?
Time to fuck off.
No, I'd never do that. Hello, Pete. How you doing, mate? It all depends on what the output is. I mean, if it's something like the Super Nintendo, what was it, the NX or something, that people paid a lot of money for that HDMI output, it's okay. If you haven't got CRT and you want to play the Intellivision games but don't want to own a CRT, then that's a great way of doing it, right? If you can buy the original carts, buy all the homebrews, and they work on this system.
Oh, okay.
With the HDMI out, right, then it's a system that's going to do pretty well, I would imagine.
Actually, Pete's elaborated on it. He said, it's a brand new console for families, has all sorts of games from casual to retro remakes like Night Stalker, Astro Smash, R-Type. So it's not like a bloody Google. What's that Google thing that they bought out?
Has it got HDMI out? Was it SCART out?
I ain't got a clue, but
RF, I think.
RF. Russ Frequency. Where is Russ? Is he there?
Russ is probably looking out for more Jurassic Park lookalike source.
I thought he was looking at the moon, weren't he?
Nah, he's upsetting someone out there. Fucking that's for sure. And probably dragging me into it.
Stadia, that's the one. Cheers, Kev.
Nostalgia for it, Pete. I wonder if Pete's got any nostalgia for the Intellivision, because I'm sure he's asked me this question before. I don't have any really for the Intellivision.
No, nor me. I always thought the Intellivision was more of a US thing.
Yeah, if I'm going to go that far back, I want to get an Atari 7800 just for some of the really cool arcade conversions like Food Fight.
I tell you what,
I know someone who used to have one of them.
Oh, someone at Revival was selling one of them. You could have bought a lovely boxed one.
I know someone who had one of them, and I give it back again.
Gutted, missed that. Good price as well.
See, now that almost sounds like it's going to be its own standalone sort of system, sort of things with its own new games.
Yeah.
I'm very much like, if it was just going to be an emulator, I'd rather have the original hardware. I'm not into any of these frame meisters or OSSC things that upscale and thingy. I like to have the original hardware, the original game if I can afford it, on a fucking CRT, because that is the whole experience for me. And it's each their own. I don't upset Kevin Wolf because I know he's here, but you know, it's each their own. I don't like playing old games on a modern telly. You know, that's
a lot of the games that were made back in the day were built around the curvature of the tube. You know, that's how they were built. They were built around the CRT, and as soon as you put them on a flat screen, I don't know what happens, but they just lose a bit of their magic to me. But you know, I understand not everyone's got a CRT these days, right? And not everyone's got the room for one. So
yeah, it's a space thing. I get the OSSC, I really do.
Yeah, and you know, I've played some retro games on the flat screen through the Switch, you know, through their emulation that they have in their hub. But no, I've never owned like that Super Nintendo one, the NX, is it, or whatever, the ST or whatever it's called. I've never owned one of them. It's a lot of money for what? You know, I've got the original here with a CRT. I don't know what that extra gives me.
They're FPGA, aren't they?
It just gives, yeah, but it just gives you the fact that you can play on a flat screen. That's all. And I don't want to play on a flat screen.
Now, you know, I think if you've got a designated games room and you're bothering collecting the consoles and that, you have to make room for a CRT for me. That's just my opinion.
I like the radiation from the CRT. You know, I can feel the radiation.
You need the radiation to keep you alive.
Fucking you don't. The colour of your fucking skin, Steve. You make me look like an albino next to you. You know. Anyway,
he's got the Hulk. He needs his radiation thing. That's why he broke that tube in the last fucking arcade machine. There was nothing wrong with it. He just wanted to switch it on and suck in the radiation out the back of the tube.
Dana, you know what Tooty's got? He's got a recliner there, and that roof acts as like a sunbed.
You know, he has got a sunbed. He's got a sunbed.
I haven't got a sunbed. I haven't.
Got one of them 80s face tanners. And what he does is when he's on his computer at work, he puts it on one arm for 1 hour and then the other arm for the other.
That's the tanning room, not the games room.
I tell you what, another couple of weeks.
Tooty's fantastic.
All them fucking games will be worth nothing with all that sun fade on them fucking cases. Anyway, question from Sega Saturn Lad. Out of Tooty's hoard, what is his most prized gaming possession?
Like nostalgia wise, as in like
I don't know. He just wants to know your
money.
Money, you want the fucking money?
Yeah, he wants to know how much you paid for it, how much it's worth. Receipts if you've got it.
No, I think like I'm gonna look at it from a nostalgia perspective. So for me, the first real game I was so happy to get back or to own was Phantasy Star on the Master System. And then after that, it was Final Fantasy 3 on the Super Nintendo.
So how about you, Alex? Even though he didn't ask you, because he's a bit ignorant, just asking one fucking guessing question, you bunch of bastards. What's your most prized possession?
But it'd be the sheriff, won't it?
Can I give more than one?
You can give a couple. Because obviously one's going to be sheriff, so other than sheriff.
No, well, I was going to say console games, actually. You know, I collect NTSC. I've got the only one PAL game I'd never get rid of it is the Metroid Big Box, which is my original one from back in the day. I love that box. I remember getting it and thinking, wow, this is so cool.
I must have that.
Yeah, and my Chaos for the Sinclair Spectrum. In fact, you know, pretty much all my Spectrum games are the ones I bought with my paper money. I've still got them all there. But Chaos is the one, probably the game that I played the most out of everything. I used to play that so much, that game.
No worries. I mean, you could have gone for the superior version of them all and bought them on the Amstrad, buddy. It was just Question for Tooty, and this one probably is only for Tooty. I already know the answer is NES. When are you going for another full set?
No, we're not.
Because me and Rob have discussed it. In fact, please, right. I think
so say NES and then Rob can sort of say I told you so.
You can either say that or, right, I know Rob is only about 3 or 4 games away from a full Dreamcast set.
So just beat the Dreamcast set just out of spite.
Yes, that's it. because you know he sat there and he would be thinking the exact same thing if the shoe was on the other foot.
Yeah.
100%. So I reckon you go for
And I
Dreamcast.
wouldn't fuck about like he's been doing either.
Oh no, you'd have it done.
Like, okay, so talking about stuff like that, here's a question for everybody else in the comments. And it's something I don't really, I kind of get it a little bit, but I don't really understand it fully. So I know there's a number of people like Rob who are missing a couple of games, right? They're missing a couple of games here and there for different systems, and they're going for full sets. Why, in God's name, prior to lockdown, did you not use CX Online to get those games? The amount of people that sort of say, "Oh no, I want to find them out in the wild," and I kind of get it because Rob doesn't want to finish it because once he finishes it, he's got no purpose in life. His purpose ends. Rob is no more. And there's a few people like that. Scott Glory Hunter, he's like, I don't want to order them on CX because I want to go and find them out in the wild, and I get that. But some of these games he's after, I don't know.
Okay. Sorry, I was just scrolling through questions while you know why Rob won't do it? Because he's a tight bastard, really.
He's not.
He is some type.
He doesn't want the hunt to end. That's the problem.
Yeah, but he can just go on to something fucking else, can't he? Like you're going to do with the NES. Anyway, question from Junior, real name Dave or David. I don't know which he prefers. Which game dev / company that's no longer in business would the lads like to see make a comeback? So
go on, Alex. I've talked enough. No, Alex will answer that one.
Oh, it's got to be Atari, isn't it? Atari, man. They made so many great, fantastic games back in the day. They were the kings, man. They fucking invented the console market. You know, they were.
And kind of fucked it up, though, didn't they, in America?
They did. Well, you know, the crash over there killed them off, and they got too greedy and didn't pay their employees enough, so they all fucked off and went somewhere else. You know. But yeah, they made.
Sounds like they had some fucking good parties though in that office, don't it? Have you ever watched documentaries?
Yeah.
They live like fucking rock stars.
Yeah, such a good company. So many classic games, man.
How about you then, Stu? Who are you going to say?
I don't know. I've just seen Dylan mention Konami, and I think that's a good shout, to be honest. Because the way they end up going, it's just absolutely fucking. It's not anything to do with monetary issues either. They just decided to fucking wrap it all up. And if you think back to the history of them guys, you know, it's fucking some of the IPs they've got. From an arcade perspective, I always liked Data East games as well. I thought Data East knocked out some absolutely stellar arcade machines.
Someone must own the IP to Data East, though, because there's a lot of them Data East and handheld coming out, isn't there? Purely with Data East games on. So someone somewhere has got that IP, and although they're the cheapo knockoff sort of things, they've got the Data East name tagged to them. So
Kevin fucking Walford 123's made a good one. Sunsoft's music on NES games, man, they could not be beaten. Absolutely brilliant.
Right, shit's falling over in the background. I'm trying to think who I'd say now. I agree with Alex actually, because I like the Atari 2600. So you know,
Atari were good in the arcades. The home stuff, I think they start to lose their way a little bit.
Yeah.
In the beginning, though, Stuart, that's all you had.
Oh yeah. Oh mate, that's what they were masters. They were masters of everything that they surveyed. Williams were good as well.
If like without Atari, there would be nothing that we currently have now.
Yeah.
100%,
But you know, they're the same people working on the console games as they did at the arcade.
Yeah.
You know? It's just incredible company, but a company got just too big and didn't look after his employees. I think it could have stayed around a lot longer if they paid their
weren't they hemorrhaging money at one point, Anne? I remember seeing something where they were making machines and they were paying the staff, but they weren't even the actual cost of the labour. Basically, it was just the flogging a dead horse, essentially.
Yeah,
I'm sure I remember seeing something like that.
They wouldn't even let the people that designed the games put their name to the games.
So that's it as well, yeah.
Just to put codes in.
Yeah. That guy he did his in was it Adventure? His name. And what
that's it. Yeah,
wasn't
one of
it
the
in
first.
Yar's Revenge as well? In Yar's Revenge, there was a name hidden as well, I
Yeah.
believe. But didn't they fucking dump all them cartridges because it was costing them more to store them than what they were fucking worth, sort of thing?
Oh, ETs. They just written them off, didn't they?
Well, it weren't just ETs. There was some.
Oh, no, there's loads. But ET's the famous one.
Yeah, but they dumped them into landfill because it was cheaper to just fuck them off and keep paying the storage where they were storing them, sort of thing.
Yeah, probably.
Question from Dahl, the retro godfather. Hello, Dahl. Question for both. Any big regrets concerning collecting, bad choices made, and so on? So, Alex, go first. You look like you've made a lot of bad choices.
It's got a face of bad choices.
Well, reaction.
Alex,
His hat.
we're only on about games, not women here, mate.
You made a bad choice letting your missus cut your fucking hair, let alone anything else.
Hey, it'll grow back. It'll grow back. Don't worry about that.
How you doing, Dal? Yeah, I've made a few. I never see selling any console games as a bad decision because I always feel I can get them back. You know, you might pay a little bit more for them, but if you're clever enough and you wait around long enough, they come up. You know, but arcade machines, it's a totally different matter because they are rare. You know, and the arcade community's just grown so much in the last 10 years. It's just massive now. So you know, finding the games that you want is so much more difficult. So if you sell something, if I sold that Sheriff, I'll never ever see that ever again. You know, there's just no way, and it's just harder. So games I've sold, yeah, there was a game that I got from the French raid. It was a Midway M4. It was a really early. It played a bit like Gunfight, really early game, 2-player. But those sort of games are really good fun in the arcade because when you have a party of friends over, you can always have a good laugh on those really early games. Even though the gameplay is really simple, if you're playing 2-player with someone, they're a real laugh. They're just so much fun. So I regretted selling that. It's a really rare game. Apart from that, no, I don't really have many regrets, really. For me, at the end of the day, I love this hobby and everything, but it is just stuff, you know. It is just stuff. And it is a luxury hobby, let's face it, right? You know, especially in this current climate when people are struggling and stuff, you know. It is just stuff at the end of the day. You can't take this with you at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, make a nice fucking box, though.
Huh?
Yeah, make a nice box.
What?
Get buried in an arcade box.
Oh, right. I was wondering what it's on about then.
Yeah, I'll die in those machines.
So he'll die in his Sheriff.
Yeah. Down to your question, I don't really regret much, mate, really, in life. If I can help it, you know.
Alex is going to be like a pharaoh. He's going to be buried with all his fucking possessions.
Put it this way. I would never sell these unless I really, really had to. I've really got the collection I want now, and I don't feel like I want to sell any of them. You know,
But you would if you had to.
If I had to.
He's got a Patreon. Take his ass off.
Oh, mate, no, I didn't want to go down that.
I'm just saying, it's always a fucking option in it. You've got the question to answer first, anyway, Stu.
I didn't really sell it. And again, I've alluded to this on other videos. I traded it, and my biggest regret was I traded my Super Nintendo with all my games for an Amiga 500. And I still regret it to this day because I had some. I said, you know, even back then I looked after my games, but the Amiga was because I could acquire more games quickly because all copies and stuff. So that's. I mean, outside of that, I've horse traded, you know, other sets within the collection. So I mentioned this before. A lot of the Xbox stuff I traded to Phil Kett. And we've got a load of Saturn stuff. I've got a load of Neo Geo AES. I'm not going to do the Pat thing, but a lot of my Dreamcast stuff I trade off with Pat again for more Saturn stuff. So, you know, what I always generally say is stuff that leaves a collection never comes back. And the original Xbox is definitely one of them. The only one I will probably want a few more back of is from the Dreamcast, but that's like, you know, if they ever turn up cheap. But I'm not go hunting them.
No worries, no worries. And when you go for that full Dreamcast set to beat Rob, yeah?
That's a bit wrong in a week.
Yeah. Anyway, question for Alex. Which arcade cab would he choose for someone to play who had never played an arcade cab before?
What? Never played a single arcade game?
Well, what you got to remember is some of these here are like even younger than me. Like there's some like early 30s, late 20s guys. So arcades are things of myths to them.
Yeah.
Or do you mean classic arcade?
No, it just means any arcade cab. I think.
Okay.
Well, there's arcades are different experiences. You can get a totally different experience in an arcade machine than you would do playing it on MAME, for example, because they've got unique controls, or they might have like a half mirror and black light inside that you just don't get unless you're face to face with a machine. And there's some games I've played where it's like they're just so cool to look at and experience playing. But then if you get it home and you get it in your collection, the novelty wears off a little bit. I used to have an Atari pinball, video pinball, and it was one of the first pinball games that was converted to a raster TV. And I don't know if you saw it. Do you remember it, Stuart? It was a weird. I've got it at the arcade club.
Yeah.
And it's like a cross between an electrical mechanical game and one of the earliest video games. And the whole experience in the cab is just amazing. But then after you've played it for a while, you realise there's not a lot to it, you know. And there's games like that, like, you know, like the Star Wars sit-down cabinet. You sit in that machine. I think everyone has to experience Star Wars in the actual cockpit. Do you know what I mean? Because that cabinet, it's so immersive. Once you're in there, you really get into the game. But then when you play it on MAME or on the Vectrex, it's just not the same. And there's, you know, games like Robotron with the sound chip that's in the Williams cabs, like Defender and Robotron. You know, the whole experience of those is the sound, man. It's just unbelievable sound, which is so important in a lot of those early arcade games. So for me, it has to be Robotron. But, you know, there's so many games like Discotron. Man, that cabinet, especially if you go in the environmental cabinet, there is one in the UK. I think Ollie's got one, and I think Rav's got one. And when you go in it, it's amazing. It's all lit up, neon lights. You've got the whole Tron artwork on the side. And once you're in there, you're really in the game. You feel like you're in the film. Do you know what I mean? It's such an amazing experience. So, you know, anything like that is worth playing. You've got to get yourself up to the arcade club, mate. That's the place to go.
Yeah, I think I'd echo what Alex. I mean, not that it was directed at me anyway, but there's definitely a definitive divide between playing the game at home and then having the quote unquote arcade experience, like Outrun, you know, and stuff. All the Sega hydraulics and the Sega scalers. As great as they look on all the home consoles, it's not the same. It's just not the same. It's not the same feeling. Even with Robotron, like I've got an X arcade from Gus Newton. I look up to my Xbox and stuff. But there's nothing like trying to walk the arcade machine playing Robotron when you move it when you play that hard and the machine starts to move.
Yeah.
And you're going to try and pin it down. You can't beat it. You can't beat it. Alex knows what I'm on about. Because you start walking the Robotron machine around the fucking room.
Stuart, I'll walk that thing around. I tell you, that thing sways about when I play.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I know.
Daz wouldn't get up the stairs though. Next question is from Gavme. What do the guys think about the limited run business model and how it affects others? First of all, I'm going to fucking go right because fucking Dylan's bound to be in the fucking chat. Right, Dylan, fucking, you know, Mr. fucking promoter of fucking limited run, sending it fucking in every WhatsApp group. I mean, in the fucking Discord. Streets of Rage 4, get Streets of Rage 4. So I order fucking Streets of Rage 4, right? Then it's going to be fucking released in game. What's the point of being limited run? It's not fucking limited and everyone can get it everywhere. Fucking pointless company. Then finish for me. They'll never get another penny. And I'm not even cancelling my order, right? Because I want the controller that I've got that's cheaper. So it's more financially for me to keep it because I'm getting the controller that's cheap. But fucking don't buy anything off them, bunch of cunts. That's my opinion.
So what do you think, Dane?
I'm selling them.
Isn't it just a company name? It doesn't actually mean limited run. That's just
No,
the
does
name
it
of the
fuck?
company.
Does it fuck? Waste of fucking time. It
Well,
used to be limited run, and that's what it should be. Limited run.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't.
me,
Go on,
Stuart.
go on, Alex. No, you're right.
Well, for me, and I've got quite a few of them, to be honest with you. What have I got here? I've got, well, that's not a limited run, but Killer Queen Black. I've got Strictly Limited Velocity. I don't know, is Bloodstain limited run? I don't know.
I don't think.
I'll
tell you what, that one game that you bought recently, Alex, in your last video, when you were cooking your fucking eggs, I'm tempted to get that one. That looks a good game. The one in the big box.
Oh, the Black Belt edition.
Yeah, that
mate,
good.
Awesome collection of games. You've got games, arcade games that have never been on the console before. Man, it's an absolute must to buy. It's absolutely incredible. For me,
I've just got to deal with Dylan a second, right? Where is he, cunt? He's here somewhere. Don't blame me. No, I am blaming you, right? Because .emu or MU, right? They never fucking sent me a WhatsApp message. They never sent nothing in the Discord. You was the one promoting it and peddling it, so I'm fucking blaming you. Carry on.
Well, I just think I'll only buy a digital game unless it's not having a physical release. If it's got a physical release, I'll hunt it down. Because if at a later date I want to sell that, I got bored of it, I'll get my money back. You can't do that with DLC.
No.
So it makes sense to me to buy a physical copy. You know, we're collectors at the end of the day. We love to collect, don't we? So I don't really care about. I don't get into the politics of the business model. I don't give a monkeys, to be honest with you. If I can pick the game up for 40 quid, I don't care what they're doing.
I just think they're wrong in the whole Streets of Rage thing, right? Because they've obviously got hold of that IP to release it physically, and they've put it out before everyone else has put that they've got it out, and it's almost like false that they were the only ones who was going to release it. It's not other. Is it?
They're doing another run at it, Dana, weren't they? They're not going to not do one.
No, but
no one's got a copy. Play Asia.
Are you pissed off because they're saying it's a limited run and you've lost out? Or
no, I've got it. It's not because it's because another company are releasing it in mass and you can get it from game.
So technically, what we say, it's not limited run by definition.
No, that's just the name of the company.
No,
but that's what they're selling it is. That's their shtick, in it.
Yeah, but it's just the name of their company. That's
but what I'm saying is they've put Streets of Rage 4 out as though they're the only company who's going to be releasing a physical copy of it, and it's going to be available to the mass market by another company.
It's false advertising.
And for cheaper.
Well, if you can get it cheaper somewhere else, then that's the way I would go. I've got no allegiance to limited run, but if that's the only way I can get the game, then I'll get it from limited run.
Yeah.
But I won't pay eBay prices. I'll get one way or another. But I've got no allegiance to them. I just think if they're making physical games, I'll buy them.
How about you, Stu? What's your opinion?
I've not really give too much note to them because to be honest, I don't do current gen stuff. Like it's not really my bag. Anything from a Switch perspective, if it's like mainstream, so to speak, we'll source out elsewhere. Alluding back to the Streets of Rage 4 thing, I had no interest in it at all, none whatsoever. I thought, here we go again. Here's another cash in. It's going to be absolute fucking tripe. Everyone's going to get fucking done over. Then we started to see a few reviews from different avenues, and I actually downloaded. Well, I attained the PC version before it actually sort of got officially released on Steam, and I was like, "Fuck me, this is good. This is really good." And I was really enjoying it. And then obviously it's only like a couple of hours, and then it got released to the masses. And I think if there's one thing that all of us can agree on, it's a fucking good game, right? It is a really good game, and it's a real good homage back to that series. And at that point, obviously, I've done nothing in terms of like buying it or even thinking about buying it. No, a lot of people had done, you know, because they've got a lot of allegiance to sort of said franchise, and I think I dropped a little bit lucky because I fell in that gap whereby I didn't order it, and then literally like 24 hours later, they released what would probably be the best edition of it. I'm not going to spoil anything. Well, everyone will forget by the time it comes out anyway. But I managed to bag myself a copy of that. And then subsequently, as other people have mentioned, there's been other releases like Play Asia, there's a UK one, etc. And there's different Scott Sega Zombie. Something like Limited Signature or something. They've done another version of it.
There's going to be slight differences. Champion 2 D-Rob says, but it's not the same version. But it's the same fucking game with minor fucking tweaks. You know, it's bullshit. They've got their advertising.
Right?
Yeah, I think so. Or you can, pay an extra fucking 20 quid to have a Mega Drive fake box or some bullshit like that.
But I would never. But just to finish off, I would never buy it DLC.
No.
I'm so anti DLC. It's like I just wouldn't. If I don't fucking play it, tough shit. I'll acquire it for free elsewhere. I'm not spending my money renting a fucking game that some bastard can just turn the servers off the back end, and I've lost 40 quid. Ain't gonna happen.
Stu, I think this might be aimed towards you. I think people who don't buy modern games are missing out on some absolute belter indie games out there. Oh, yeah. Very good. Can you read that?
Yeah, maybe. But
I can time him out if you want, because it's a bit of a response.
No, because it's a fair comment. I'm just not a current gen gamer. That's all it is. I don't play. Yeah, we all joke about it. Yeah, and I'm fucking hold my hands up here. I mean, I've got enough games here to last me fucking 10 lifetimes.
Especially
I know the current gen stuff is this, that, and the other, but I'm not paying DLC. Why am I going to buy and spend more money on stuff? I don't. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Question from Retro Faith. I assume it's to all of us. What are your views on the slew of remakes and reboots are popular at the moment? Should games be left in the nostalgic gland or remade for the younger audience to enjoy? Go on, Alex, first. Do you deal with...
I don't understand the question. What was that?
It's just about like all the remakes and the reboots that seem to be popular at the moment. Like you got Resi 2, Resi 3, Resident Evil, obviously are all remade. You got Final Fantasy 7, which I personally couldn't give two fucks about, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, I do. I want to see not a remake, but maybe an updated version of the Metroid series, Metroid Prime and stuff coming, and I'm pretty sure that will come out on the Switch. Just so I can have it on the go with the Switch. I don't want to get the GameCube out to play it. I want to play it on the current console. So yeah, I think they're a good idea.
I think it all depends, on if that, like you say, Metroid's been away for quite a bit, as in the Wii games were slightly a lot different to what the ones on the GameCube look like. If it's a return to the old version of the game, I get everyone's loving the Resident Evil ones, but they've been remastered fucking more times than.
Well, I'll tell you a really good one to get, which I haven't got yet, which I've been looking at. It does come in a nice limited box, but I am a sucker for that. Is on a mission, Warlords, and that was a fantastic game. I really enjoyed that, and that's been remastered for the Switch. So yeah, I'm definitely over some of them. Yeah, when Resident Evil 4 comes out, I'll definitely get it for the Switch.
See, now you've pointed that out. I'd much rather see a game that's not been released for 2 or 3 generations, almost that franchise died coming back. If you're going to do Resident Evil remake, forget that. Give us a new Dino Crisis remake, something that's not been around for a long time. Whereas, Resident Evil...
On an issue, that's a game I never thought would come onto the Switch. That's a fantastic game,
there's some games that we've almost never missed because they've always been with every generation, Resident Evil as an example. But something like Dino Crisis, that's long in the past, that is a game that could do with a rebirth, maybe something like that. I don't know, Stu. Same question to you. What's your view on it? Or
the one that jumps to my mind first is Link's Awakening on the Switch.
Yeah,
I thought that was absolutely brilliant.
it was.
They took that game and they've basically brought it back into the 21st century, and they've just recreated it with the same mechanics and just literally polished it up to like absolutely brilliant.
So you say they're a good thing? I mean, I think
it depends what it is, because there's a point where you can bleed shit dry. It's like it's like with a good joke. You can tell it so many times, and everyone just gets pissed bored of it, right?
Like your jokes normally,
like you generally.
Fuck off.
But if it's done right and it's done once, it's fine. But when you start milking it too much, everyone gets fed up with it.
See, I think there's two different examples, and I'm probably going to upset a few people here. Streets of Rage 4 is a great reimagining and a great way to do it, yeah? Resident Evil... So I'm just getting me a drink. Thank you.
But they all do it. They all milk the games because people still buy it, Stuart.
But I think Resident Evil 3 is what's wrong with it, where they've just rushed something out, which could have been a lot better, just to jump on that Resident Evil 2 did so well. You know, I'm not convinced that Resident Evil 3 couldn't be a better game than what it is. And the only reason I say that is because it's a full price game. And it's got
what they should
on
do
the modern
is
system, it's got 3 hours.
Like Nintendo did with the DS game, was it NES Remakes? That was so much fun. You know, that was taking all the old NES games and just throwing a load of spanners in the works and just going, right, here's Donkey Kong as you know it, but you've got to do it in a completely different way. Or do you know what I mean? There's all those.
That's what I'm saying. It's taking them same games, Alex, and basically reimagining them, but not milking them to the nth degree, whereby everyone just gets fed up to the back teeth of seeing the fucking same game. It's like, oh god, not another remake of whatever you call it.
Yeah, Space Invaders. How many times have you seen Space Invaders?
Yeah.
But have you ever played Space Invaders Extreme on the DS? Man, that is such a cool game.
I think I've got that.
Yeah, it's so good, Stuart. Give it a go. It's brilliant.
Got no chance.
Question for the three of us. From Scott, Sega Zombie, Blue Spine, retro fellow admin for Stu on the Retro Realm. Not for me. I never want to be admin fucking anyway. Don't put me in charge of anything.
It never happened.
For the three of you, what game from the past would you love to be remade or remastered? So Alex first, Stu, then I'll go.
I'd like to see Axley. New levels for Axley. And just I just love that game so much. I'd love it. They've never done a sequel to that game, and I think that would be a fantastic game to bring back again. Axley for the Super Nintendo, brilliant. Hello, Scott. How you doing, mate? Hope you're well, buddy.
How about you, Tango Tony?
What, Tony? I don't know. Hello, Scott. Oh, bloody, that's a difficult one. That is. I'm trying to think of something that's not been redone. I mean, that's the fucking hardest part, isn't it? Let's be honest. You go, Dana, and I'll have a think.
Okay, I'm going to go for a shooter because it was one of my favourite shooters back in the day, Shmups. Salamander. Because all the others, like Darius, Raiden, R-Type, they're still about getting remakes. And Salamander, or Life Force, if you're American, is one game that seems to have been left in the past, and it's one of my favourite shmups. So I'd like some sort of Salamander reincarnation and remake. That would be my choice. Hopefully that gets some proof. Go on then.
I know what I'd like to see.
You got the Paradius games, didn't you?
I'd like to see my fucking hands around your neck. No, I'd like to see it as a game remade properly, as in its traditional form is a Shinobi game.
Oh, that's a good choice, that is, Stu. That is a good choice.
And on that note, I'm going to go for a few more beers and a wee.
Okay, you're not allowed to go for a wee to the end of the stream. I don't mind. Few people are saying Dino Crisis. Agree with me. Salamander, I'd love to see that. I absolutely love that game. That is one of probably the first shooters I used to play back on the Amstrad.
So that's a side scroll, and then it turns into vertical, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's inside, like isn't it set like inside a salamander's body? Hence, it's meant to be like inside.
So it's a little bit like Gradius in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was around that same sort of time. It was definitely out on the NES.
Yeah.
I got it on the Famicom. But it's one that I would have held against R-Type Gradius, you know, and obviously it never moved any further. It was left behind. I think there was Konami.
You've got the sexy Paradius games on the Super Nintendo, haven't you? All the Paradius games, which were kind of like a take on Gradius kind of style.
Yes, I've got a couple of them, actually. I've definitely got
pretty cool.
And I think I've got it on the Famicom. But it's almost like, for some reason, that franchise was left behind, and it was a Konami franchise. So, you know, it weren't like the company went out of business. They just never moved it on. Sorry, mate.
Are you into the bullet hells, or do you like the old school shoot 'em ups?
I prefer old school. There's this one that I've got a couple of like Death Smile and that on the 360. I like that.
Yeah.
But this is the one game I can't get fucking on with. Under Defeat, man.
Right.
I can't get. Someone's told me to play it where you lock the shooting on, where you can lock the shooting so it goes the way you're facing. But the way it sways and the way the shooting is, I just can't get on with it. Can't get on with it. Oh, Salamander, the last time that is the last version was on the Saturn. But I don't believe it went any further than that. It's been left behind for some reason. And even then, if I'm right, is Salamander only released on the Japanese Saturn, if I'm correct? I don't think it made it to the UK. I may be wrong. Fucking hell, Stu must be having a right piss.
He's having a dump.
I'm going to take the piss out of him. I can see his shadow coming in. You can see his belly. Wait for him to put his headset on. So what's your opinion on it then, Stu?
What?
You got piss stains on your shorts when you come in. You haven't shook it enough.
Standard.
Woodland's agreeing with me. Oh,
what's Woodland saying?
For Dana, have you played Zero Gunner 2? No, I haven't. Watch this as on. If it's on something like the Saturn or something, I've not played a lot on the Saturn, so I've not got a lot on the Saturn. That's not me appealing. I'm just saying. But anyway, we'll talk a bit about YouTube. We haven't spoken much about YouTube. And last time we were on, Stu, we didn't really get into your story about why you started on YouTube, who you were watching, because fucking basically Rob hogged the limelight with his fucking ever-failing internet, didn't he? So just tell us your story of YouTube, Stu, because, like, you know, where you started, why you started, you know, and just in general, how many people have you upset over the years?
I was bored.
How many were upset?
His missus wouldn't listen to him, so he started a channel to find people to talk to.
He started off as a tanning room. And then turned into a gaming stroke tanning room.
No, again, like for them that might know and them that don't know, I don't know who's watching, even fucking watch. Is anybody even watching anymore? Is anybody out there?
Oh, they're more watching, listening.
Can you hear me, mother? So my YouTube journey, God, it must go back to like fucking
during the war.
That's what Rob said, didn't he? The cheeky bastard. He goes, oh, he's Stu's pre-war rant or something. Oh, fucking champion 2D Rob. Who actually, talk about Rob, did anyone watch his last video? Doesn't he look younger without his handlebar moustache? Have you noticed?
It's TootyUK Dark Edition.
He's talking about 10 years off him.
Rob looks really young. Anyway, he's got to stop using them Snapchat filters when he's fucking recording. That's what it is.
But anyway, so for me, it really started, I say it's maybe early 2000s, I can't remember. But it's all about arcades.
Just keep telling your stories, Dave.
I can't because everyone keeps commenting. You keep highlighting them. It's all about arcades, and I got somewhat obsessed with literally having an arcade machine. And I actually purchased one from Alex would probably know him, an Asian guy up Bradford Way or something. I can't remember what his name is now.
You haven't told me this story.
He's a well-known dealer. He's got a Facebook page. Website. Probably has a Facebook page by now. But back then, obviously, Facebook didn't exist.
I think I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. And I bought, like, it was just a standard jammer cabinet. And all I did with it was a proof of concept. And I got is it a J pack or an I pack, which basically converted. That's it, you got it. And I did literally just like put a PC inside it with a PC monitor, just to sort of as a proof of concept, would it work? And it worked fine, you know. It was like a fucking Frankenstein machine, but it was just to sort of see, could I do it? And it all worked fine. But the long story short is, going through that whole journey, you know, you sort of put in like arcade rooms or arcade, and it's all Americans. They've all got the big basements. They've all got the big fucking cellars. They've all got the big man caves. And it was just watching all these machines, you know, reminiscing back again. Oh, yeah, I remember seeing that one, blah, 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 blah. And then a few of them had like arcade rooms, but they had the consoles in there. And it was like, there's a Super Nintendo, there's a fucking Genesis / Mega Drive, blah, 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 blah. And again, you just literally go through a fucking wormhole into every other fucking nook and cranny of YouTube, and you know, and you end up finding different channels. And I end up watching a lot of American guys, but they weren't. A lot of people now think, when you think of American guys, you think of like Metal Jesus and all them fucking dickheads. They weren't. It wasn't like that back then. They were smaller, more natural.
Huh?
Sorry, I was
you know, and I found, you know, I found loads of like just sort of just genuine normal guys like Ed T11 118. Who else was it? Mike Gartner. People like, but Mike Gartner and Bithead, they both live in New Jersey, in New York. But Bithead, you know, he wasn't as big as he was now back then, and it was just great. Ryan right now, go and watch Ryan right now's old videos. Absolutely
not
brilliant.
right now, right after the stream. Thank you.
But
Don't go now.
That's how it started, and you just started watching people. So back into the UK side of it, in terms of like who I was watching and seeing that, Marcus X-Files 2708, Stu Ninja Bear Hog. Watched a bit of.
Are they still going, Stuart?
No.
Marcus is in the comments.
Mm.
Fucking hell, Stu, the lights have gone out.
Yeah, it's getting dark. I told that this camera's not good. I could put the light on, but I could put the big light on. So I put the big light on.
Yeah, you'll reflect off the top of your fucking head, though.
Oh, let me get my shades on. Hang on.
I put the big light on.
Why didn't you just fucking have that on anyway?
It's electricity, mate. We're fucking cost saving here.
Fuck
but yeah, so it you know, the UK scene was a little bit smaller, I suppose relatively speaking, it always is smaller to the US side of it. But I always found it more relevant and more real. But I say the early US guys, man, they were doing it. They were fucking proper just collectors.
So they inspired you, is that what you're saying? So what made you want to do your first video on that?
Yeah, it was basically about like trying to get involved in it. Trying to be sort of
your arcade machine then, and why didn't you
follow the arcade machine? So when I moved from my old house to here, which is way over 10 years ago, I said the old machine, Alex, it was just a proof of concept. It was just a standard jammer. There's nothing special. I've still got some of the parts in the garage. I'm going to send to somebody else because I think they might better use them.
Fucking Alex's ears then pricked up when he heard the word jammer. He was like, "Woo, fucking spider!"
No, do you know what this is how weird it is? It cost me £40 delivered back then, Alex.
Yeah.
The guy delivered it for £40 delivered.
Yeah. But did that not inspire you to like hunt down the real thing?
No, because for me it was just like, can I do it? Yes. Yeah, like I say, it's fucking yonks, early 2000s. As a proof of concept, is it possible to do it? Yes, it is. Does it look great? No, it looks fucking ugly as shit. But you can do it.
Did you ever look on eBay for any machines at all?
Yeah, of course I did, but it's all space, right?
Yeah.
And sort of probably pre the sort of arcade side of it, I was big into emulation. I could like list off loads of emulators, separate emulators. Steve Vector Unlim, funnily enough, was one of the guys who first hosted some of the best emulations and the programs on the internet, which is called Unlim.
Yeah.
You know, I remember the Rain emulator, which was basically the Rainbow Islands emulator. You had the System 16 emulator, which is the Sega stuff. You know, all these different emulators. A lot of people don't realise the history behind it because MAME swallowed them all up and they encompassed them all up into MAME. But back in the early days, these are all separate little individual emulators that people were developing and building themselves.
When you got into YouTube then, Stuart, was you already collecting games? Was you back in
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't nowhere near like that. Back then, it was more, I remember this game, I want to get it back. Yeah. And I was going to car boots back then. But I wasn't buying anything.
So the YouTube came first before you started to get back into collecting again?
A bit of both. It was a 50-50 thing. It was like you know, a lot of, well, some of you might know, I was really big into World of Warcraft. I was playing World of Warcraft loads.
God, I was as well. It was like crack, wasn't it? Jesus.
And what happened with that is it got to the point for me where a realization where it's like this will never end.
Yeah.
This will never end. I can't complete this game. And then I harked back to like the role playing games you used to play, like Zelda and stuff like that. I thought I can complete them. And that's how
the only way you'll get good at World of Warcraft, my mate used to do, he used to have 2 PCs set up with 2 characters and walk them through together. And then once one picked up an item, he'd sell it to his other mate. And then before you know it, he's a multi-millionaire.
The Chinese did that a lot.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But so what did you get back into collecting first, or was it just like going to car boots and just picking up anything?
It was just kind of like, I remember I went to one car boot, it was the oddest thing, and I remember seeing a Secret of Mana loose cart just on someone's on the floor. I was like, I remember that.
Yeah.
It was like a pound.
You go back straight home then and do a video on it.
No, because it wasn't the thing then.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing YouTube. I was just collecting bits and bobs, the odds and sods, you know.
So can we get to how you made your first video or fucking watched you?
I don't know. I don't know where the impetus was, or I think what it was is because I was watching that much, and I can't remember it. I think you had to. I probably still do now, but you had to have a channel to comment, didn't you?
Yeah, you still do now.
Yeah, but back then, again, I'm not sure. I'm sure back then you probably had to as well. And I thought, well, I wanted to make a channel.
So
that's all it was.
Your early videos, you're so polite and white. You're not you're not very tanned. You know, you've
slimmer as well.
Change, mate. You've got different.
The shelves aren't bowing.
We all change, Alex. We all change.
The shelves aren't bowing or nothing. Because funnily enough, YouTube has been recommending like videos from 8 years ago from Stu, and he knows which ones I watch because I purposely leave a comment now if I watch them.
I've been getting that as well. Funny.
Look, if I fix the bowing fucking shelves and I fix my haircut, you'd have nothing to moan about, would you? You'd be bored.
I'd find something. If anyone else says the gaming historian is a good channel, you'll be timed out like fucking Raz. He's a fucking shill. He's a fucking shill. Anyway, questions all 3, but only 2 of us are probably going to be able to answer this. What do you guys think of Pete Dorr? Is it Dorr?
I don't know who he is.
Oh, that's an
American.
I've never fucking heard of him.
Don't know who he is.
He's been around a long time.
He was Retro 2.
He's one of those spoiled kids in America that had everything, and God knows where he got his money from, because his collection was 4 times the size of yours, Stuart, before he was even 18. So God knows where he got his money from. And I watched it just in the beginning just to see what games were available on the DS and stuff like that, see what rarities he had. Only for reference, really. I didn't like him as a personality, But like a lot of things, you watch some channels just to see what they've got, right? And just to see if the game's any good. But yeah, don't watch him anymore. I don't think he's on anymore anyway, is he?
I'm not too sure, but to say that, the only time I usually watch a gameplay footage video, I'm not big on to watching it unless it's a live stream and there's some sort of interaction. I like that. If someone's live streaming, you can interact, take the piss out of him like I used to do with Carl Woodley when he was playing Steve shit. Is if I'm going to put if I'm going to put a decent amount out for a game, I want to see what that game plays like I did with Samurai Pizza Cats when I was going to import that off James. I didn't just want it for the name of the game. I wanted to see if it was a good game. So that's the only time, like, sometimes your hand's forced and you have to go to some of these shill channels or these big America channels because they're the only ones with the footage. But to emphasize on that, is that your story of YouTube, Stu? You know, or are we coming back a third time to fucking finish it, or what?
What?
You know, I just wanted to know
what you want to know.
I want, you know, why you started, what you know,
I can't remember. I can't give you a distinct thing where I turned around and said, "Oh yeah, I found my old SNES in the cupboard, and I dug it all out." But it wasn't like that. It evolved. It literally evolved from watching arcade channels and the arcade rooms and seeing their console stuff, and then I sort of went, "I remember them console games," and I started collecting them. And the reason why I started the YouTube channel was to interact with other people. There wasn't any sort of like great light bulb moment that went off. It was just it just evolved that way. If you look at my first one, I think even back then I even had like a Neo Geo AES and stuff like that. So I'd already been collecting the shit before then. And back then, fuck me. If I think about it now, I should have bought shitloads more of AES games. So they're only about 40, 50 quid each.
Question from Sega Satellite. In all seriousness, what's the guy's experience of trolls? So, Alex and Stu, have you ever had any trolls?
Yeah, I think we all have, haven't we? I think we've all had trolls. I'm honoured, to be honest with you. I'm honoured to have them on my channel. I'm honoured that I'm wasting their time by them watching my channel. That's about it, really. You know.
I enjoy trying to hunt them down, to be honest. That's one of my favourite pastime, especially during lockdown. People who are trolls, I enjoy hunting. So I have various forms of software which help me do it. So I find
you can hunt them down.
Oh yeah, someone trolled my mate Gezzy's stream. He raided his stream, so I just followed them to their little corner of YouTube and returned the favour, so to say.
Yeah,
that was part of
I had one. Well. And I know why he was doing it. You know that Kieran guy? Oh, I'm not afraid to mention him. He's a total fucking twat.
Oh, Kieran Hawking.
Yeah, that idiot. I had him for a while. But, you know, when confronted in reality, they tremble in their boots, you know. So.
I just need to address Raz. Raz, it's me that's kicked you twice, right? Because the second time you were pushing the gaming historian, right? We don't have fucking shills mentioned on this channel. The guy's a wanker. Don't mention his channel again or I'll ban you. No problem. Okay, carry on. Oh, Kieran Hawkins, weren't he a complete dick to everyone? I've seen him in person, man. I'd crush him physically as well as online.
Yeah. He got chucked out of Revival, didn't he? For causing loads of grief there. Got chucked off the Tory age. I mean, the guy's a complete and utter troll. Yeah, just trolled everybody, you know. Trolled me for a while because he doesn't like Nintendo, and the guy's an absolute prat. He really is. I'm glad that is it George? What's his name?
George Bum.
George Bum.
George Cropper's had COVID. I think he's over it now, though. That's the true fact. That is. So if he's watching, I hope he's well because I have spoke to him. He had COVID.
I'm glad he brought him up really and dragged him through the dirt.
It's the shit trolls that I hate, right? If you're gonna troll me, right, be fucking good at it. Don't just write a shit comment that I can delete or ban you for. If you're gonna troll me, be fucking good at it. Because if not, I will be fucking better at it back at you when I find out who you am.
Yeah, I'm honoured. As I say, I'm honoured that I'm wasting their time by watching my shit because it is shit what I produce. So. And I love
the retards who thumb you down because that's better than them not watching it.
Yeah.
Same.
Fucking
Same.
dumb. What about you, Stu? You ever had any trolls?
Oh,
Like, when you
loads.
used to go out swimming when you were younger.
Loads. They've always been about this. It's nothing new. It's you know. The thing is now, I think that there's means and ways to block them easier than there were back in the day. But going back to Alex's comment about Kieran Hawking, and again, I'm not, well, I am actually, but I always found it really interesting when it all blew up, the amount of people that started to distance themselves from him, that had been associated with him, that had made money from him or with him. Then all of a sudden, once he's a bad egg, they all didn't want anything to do with him.
I think we know.
It's all about the money. It's all about the money. Follow the money.
It's all about the dum dum da 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 dum.
Yeah. and to me, a little bit that's what pissed me off even more, because all these fucking self-righteous fucking social justice warriors all saying about Kieran Hawking this and that. Oh yeah, he's bad. But like 6 months ago, you were right. He was writing pieces. He was writing scripts for your fucking YouTube channel. And he was writing pieces for your fucking book. But you were quite happy to take the money back then, knowing exactly, like you said, Alex, 3 or 4 years ago, he was fucking people off. But you're quite happy to take the money.
Yeah, but that is a totally different matter and totally different subject. You're talking about people that have taken money from him. We're talking about trolls, right? And
yeah, but it's the same difference, mate. If someone's a troll, like, and he did troll you, and 100%, mate, I agree with you, right? But it's the hypocrites that basically that annoy me. That when someone's all of a sudden now an ostracised character from the community, but they were quite happy to earn money off the back of him back when it suited them.
Yeah, that I don't know a lot about. See, guys, I don't really get into the politics of it really, and I don't really do that on my channel, and I don't do it on Facebook. I can't stand it, to be honest with you. I always thought politics you should keep to yourself, to your heart, and vote with your hands, you know what I mean, down the ballot box. I mean, people spew out so much shit all the time. It's like, just keep it to yourself, for crying out loud, you know. I'm not interested in all that, you know.
I do like to tell people when someone's a cunt.
If someone's actively trolling me, trying to piss me off, then obviously I get involved, right? You know. But yeah, unfortunately, if you've got a YouTube channel, you're going to get them. Whatever, you know, it's just jealousy at the end of the
day.
Possibly.
Chris is saying, hang on, what if he pulled the wool over people's eyes? You know, the thing is with the old Kieran Hawking situation is it wasn't just overnight that everyone knew he was a cunt. It had been building up for years, man. That is what I don't even know the guy, and I used to just go to Revival, and I knew all the bad shit about him, and I'm just a guy who sells there. You know, so it weren't like it come out of the blue. This had been fucking
right.
So let me stop you there then. Hang on, whoa, lads, listen to yourselves. It's not come out of the blue. It's been going on for years. But what I'm saying to you is, the point I'm trying to make is the people in the community, that all these community people, after the fucking 4th or 5th year that he was doing it, and he's been doing it for, like, say if he's doing it for 8 years, they were still quite happy to profiteer off them 4 years of him doing it. So
who's they?
There's loads of people, Alex.
Who?
He was writing articles. He was helping. He's writing scripts and this, that, and the other. Look, I'm not trying to burn the guy down, but there's some people who need to take account for them fucking selves as well. You know, he did what he did, but there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that earned money off the back of what he'd done as well. And all of a sudden, once the shit hit the fan, they were quite easily and quite quickly easy to fucking elbow him off and not want anything to do with him. Damage limitation. Oh, he's nothing to do with me anymore. Yeah, because you've earned your fucking money off the back of the poor bastards, and you've chucked him on the fucking fire to burn. They're all accountable, all of them.
The one thing I'll say is I just know that
much about that.
That he obviously did something that upset Craig Turner, and Craig just chucked him out of Revival from the inst of that happening, sort of thing.
Was it Chris as well?
Chris Wilkins, nice guy. Chris Wilkins is. Spoke to him several times. In fact, he sent me some of his Fusion books earlier this week that I'd ordered.
Yeah. Don't piss people like that off, do you, really?
While we're talking about trolling YouTube and that, just a question for you both. How do you think YouTube's changed over time? Because I know probably about 6-7 months ago, Stu, you were probably fucking done with YouTube, weren't you? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So tell us.
It's a shit pit. It's a shit pit.
Can we elaborate more? Can we elaborate more? You know, why had it changed over time? What had pissed you off? Because I know you were thinking of jacking it in.
Oh, do you know what I think it's become? It's become a tanning room.
You wanted to walk away and bask in the fuck. You wanted to get rid of.
If it had become that, Alex, I would have stayed. Can't take him anywhere, can I?
So you're going to tell me how it's changed, or what? I've kind of asked you a question, and
has Alex finished?
No, Alex was just taking the piss out of you, like I do.
What changed in what way, though? I mean,
I don't know. Has it changed, like, since when you first started to what YouTube is now? You know,
Patreon and people.
No, just anything in general, like, you know.
Of course, it's changed. It's the nature of the beast. It's always going to change.
Well, the thing is, I don't get that much time. I subscribe to a lot of channels. I don't get enough time to watch them all, and sometimes feel guilty when I haven't. Say if TootyUK uploads a video and I haven't watched it, I sometimes think,
I wouldn't watch it.
I haven't watched that, man. I need to watch that. But you know, you keep to the. I'm quite loyal. You know, if I like someone, I'm usually quite loyal to them, unless they change the whole thing completely around. I mean, like Daz, for example. Daz is a top bloke, and I'm still loyal to him, but I'm not interested in what he's uploading so much. But it's more about the character, right? And I think that's important. If you've got the character there, everything else doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? But a lot of YouTube's just there's just so many people doing it now, especially gaming. But it doesn't matter to me. I've still enjoyed doing it, and if people are still going to watch it, I'll still do it. You know, the only thing that's changed, I guess, is more people doing the whole Patreon thing, and which I don't get at all. I don't get that. But yeah, it's what you make of it, isn't it? Really, you get what you want out of it.
I'll tell you what, YouTube pisses me off.
Don't like, and they're begging for money, just don't watch it.
What I don't like about YouTube is currently keep fucking changing the YouTube studio, man. I'd only just fucking got used to using the old one and they've took it away.
Yeah, the comments. You got the comments.
Oh man, it's such a bore. Like, at least it's easier now to find subscribers. They've done something to, because like I used to always like to see if I got new subscribers, and sometimes you just miss the pop-ups in your feed. And until they actually completely switched over, now it's on your main dashboard. There was no way of finding it in the new sort of thing. I used to have to go to the old studio, go into community, go into subscribers just to check, see who my new subscribers was. Sometimes, not that I'm getting loads. It's just, you know, if it's
on his phone, then, Dana.
no, I have to do that on my laptop. On the phone, it's fucking impossible. It's a real shit thing to manage on your phone.
Yeah.
So, Barney Grumble, what's your opinion? That's you, Stu, by the way.
What's the question?
YouTube, how it's changed over time. Why were you done with it 6-7 months ago and now you're not so much, you know? Talk to me. You were a sad man a few months ago. You're not so sad.
I think,
you're still a grumpy.
It's always going to change. It's always going to evolve, and that's the nature of the beast. And, you know, and never the twain shall meet sort of thing. But I think, a year ago, maybe, it was tired. I think it was tired anyway. There has been a massive influx and a huge push towards new channels, fresh channels, with just you know, a set of ideals in terms of they just want to make videos for fun, right? They want to make videos about the hobby that they enjoy, and they want to share it. Not in it fucking for monetary gain. They don't want a fucking fame and fortune. And I mean, I like people like that, right?
Yeah.
When you set out your fucking channel and you put the first thing you in your fucking thing is, oh, sign up to Patreon, fuck off. You're done.
Yeah.
Because you're in it for the wrong reasons.
But if you was to start your YouTube now, would it put you off then? Or you just saying that you just don't like people that are...
No, I don't. It wouldn't put me off it. I think people have to question why they're doing
people
it.
Coming in for different reasons. For
Exactly.
the wrong reasons.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes the wrong reason. Exactly. So question what? So what do you want to get out of it? What is your aim to get out of it? If you want to get fame and fortune and you want to make millions and you don't want to work for a living, then this probably ain't the platform for you. Because let's be honest, like me and Dan has discussed before, I think it's been discussed on this channel and this stream before, even from a footballing terms, if we look at like the UK from a footballing or soccer terms, 0.1% of people make it to the big league. And then 0.1% ain't even the best players. It's just luck and chance. And that's exactly the same thing with YouTube.
You know, right place, right time. I'd love to see the stats now to see, like, you know, what a new YouTuber, how they would excel to get up to, say, 1 million subs if it takes a much longer time than what it did, say, 5 or 6 years ago. Because I reckon it's more of a grind now to start from the up, is my opinion. That's just my opinion.
But so you got to question why you're doing it, Dana, right?
No, I'm just saying, like, you know, these channels that naturally blow up, right? You know, they just do.
It's viral. It's viral. It's viral. All they've done is that they've hit the right nerve at the right time. That's all it is.
That's what I said. It's right place, right time. Right place, right time.
But it's not that. It's not just that though. You've got to continue that curve. Because if you don't, you're going to drop up again.
Oh God, fucking! I totally agree there, man. And I think in about 3 or 4 years' time, if YouTube's still going, it'll be, you know, you'll start your channel and you'll start your Patreon same day. I think it'll become that much hand in fucking hand. I don't know.
Be because the two are meant to be, like I think Alex mentioned in his video, and I would concur with what he sort of said here in terms of my assumption of Patreon is meant to be a Kickstarter. You know, the amount of fucking, and it's not just game stuff, right? I watch a lot of different genres, and the amount of toy channels, this, that, and the other, and they start these Patreons up because they've spent this much money on a camera, they've bought this much money on a microphone. I mean, I watched some guy who basically sort of said, "Oh, I started this Patreon because I need some batteries from a camcorder," right?
Yeah,
well, and I'm like, well, hang on, but I've watched all these videos. I'm like, you don't even leave your fucking room, so why don't you just plug the fucking thing in? And it's the justification that always really grinds, because it's bullshit, right? And I said to him on his video, I said after his Patreon fucking begging thing, and I said to him, so once you've got the stuff that you want, i.e. the batteries that you really don't really need, and there was some else, a lapel microphone. So, are you going to switch Patreon off then? Well, no, because people might want to help the channel, but they've already helped the channel. You've got all the stuff you want. So Patreon for me, like you said, Alex, you hit the nail on the head. It's fucking inverted. It's the wrong way round.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's always been hobbies, but it's a diary of the games that I've got, the rarities that I've got, putting them on camera for people to see for the first time. You know, that's why I started YouTube, because those really rare, do you remember those cocktail cabinets I had of Sheriff back then? And there was no other videos on these machines, a lot of these early arcade machines. So I was kind of just documenting them really. And I think they had to get out there for people to see them. And then suddenly I just found a community of other people, like-minded people that were into the same thing. I did the advertising thing for a while, but only because I was doing the game room tours. I just thought it'd be nice if the advertising would pay for the petrol, you know, because I did a lot of traveling. And I've had people offering me money and saying, "Oh, you need to set up Patreon," and it's like I feel bad. It's like you walking in a room at Revival, Tooty and Dana, and basically saying, "Look, I've just sat up here and talked, and now I'm going to put the bowl out here. Can you all give me some money?" You know, and your mates are in the same room.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm in the same room and you're asking
peers.
me for money, right? Cash, right? Because that's it. But because you're on YouTube and it's hidden and no one else sees what the other person's giving you, then it's okay. Because that's all right, isn't it? You know, you're getting a backhander. But if that was in public and you were asking all your subscribers face to face, can you give me some money? I bet you bottom dollar they wouldn't.
I just want to bring Chrissy's comments up. I don't want it to turn into an argument, but I do want both sides up. I don't get the prudish view on making a bit of cash on the side. The option is there, so why not? I, for example, still focus on Amstrad and always will. I'll never, should we say, be big, or neither do I want to be. What I would say is Chris does still focus on the same stuff he always has done. What I'll just throw my 2 penny thing. When I started this stream, people said to me, "You ought to start up a donation thing or something for this." I don't want to, because I don't want to have that pressure of me having to, you know, set a standard of how I do my stream or how I want to do a stream. I like to keep, you know, I don't like I have been given gifts, not just because I'm doing the stream, because people have offered me gifts, and that makes me feel uncomfortable anyway. I just like to do what I do because I want to do it, and I like to be able to keep control and not feel like even if I was only had
they
one
own you. And you owe them something.
I'm a bit of a free spirit. I like to do what I want, say what I want when I fucking want, sort of thing. And I then would, if someone was giving me, say, I don't know, it's dollars in it, $5 a month, I'd feel I owe someone a certain standard for that $5. Whereas if I wanted to stop the stream tonight, I don't owe no one anything, if that makes sense. That's just my 2 pence on how I feel about it.
So I would echo that. So this is where it comes down to, isn't it? If you're being paid, so this has always been my bug of it. If you're being paid to do something, you're not doing it off your own volition. Now, people will sort of say, "Oh, I'm doing it because I love to do it." You're not, because at the time that people start giving you money, you are doing it because you are being paid to do it, and it's that reason, it's that justification for doing them videos. And I've seen it a million times across a million channels. Right, as soon as Patreon starts coming into it, it all changes, because they're not doing it for the passion, they're not doing it for the love of it. It's because they're being paid to do it. And when you're being paid to do a job, Alex will tell you, Alex is a builder, right? He'll do, if someone says to him, "What, you got to build me a wall, Alex," he'll do the fucking best job ever. If his missus sort of said, "Alex, on a Sunday, build that wall," he'll take his time and he'll do it eventually, but he won't do it as good as he's going to do it because he's being paid to do it.
And the thing is, Tooty, and Chris obviously is watching, is, you know, people are paying you money, you have to feel obliged to keep uploading videos all the time, and then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. I mean, I know when I feel in my heart I want to do a video, like my next video is going to be on rescue. I've got the machine working. I'm really excited about showing the cabinet off, this prototype. But if someone's giving me money to do it, then I feel like I'll have to get it done tonight. You know,
you're obliged.
I can't do it tonight. I've got to do this. I don't want to ever feel like that. You know, I do it when I'm ready to do it. And that way I don't owe anybody anything, and I can walk away from it. I can have 6 months off and not worry about doing YouTube if I want to, and not worry about people giving me money.
Retro Faith says, "How do you stand on buying tickets or records from your fan?" I can't reiterate because
I don't do music.
Yeah, I'm fucking. The least favourite thing I could think to do would be to stand at a fucking concert. The only band I'd see is Queen and Freddie. And actually, yeah, I'm the sort of person who pisses in cups if I go and see a group. But the only group I would probably pay money to see is Queen if they had Freddie Mercury still singing, which they don't. So, that is my point exactly. How about you, Alex? I don't think you can compare.
You're comparing apples and pears, aren't you? Let's be honest.
Yeah, like, creating a YouTube video, right? You cannot compare to, like, a stadium
performing live.
Yeah.
It's not the fucking same. It's a daft comparison. Of all due respect to Faith, it's not the same. It's not the same. Look, people that create YouTube and it's what I said before. It all goes back to, why are you doing it?
Well, at the end of the day,
why are you creating the content you're creating it for? Is it for monetary gain?
Retro Faith, Stuart, everyone, it doesn't cost me any money to upload
Correct.
a video. I'm
Yes.
not in a studio recording
Correct.
some music. I'm not
It's a bit of
creating
time.
vinyl or tape. It's
a
on
bit of time,
YouTube.
a bit of an
It's
effort.
digital. Okay, if I'm Guns N' Roses and I'm at a gig at 100,000, I've got roadies, I've got lighting. Okay, I've got coaches to be paid for. The only way that's going to be paid for is if you guys pay 100 quid for a ticket. If you want to come and see me at stadium, now I'm not in the stadium, I'm in my room, and it costs me sweet FA to upload a video. So for everyone to say I need Patreon to run my channel, it's absolute rubbish. The camera on my iPhone is one of the best cameras out there. What else do you need? Cameras, people buy these cameras, they don't even focus properly when they upload a game to the camera. Yeah. It takes about 5 seconds for it to get focused. Yeah. And they spend hundreds on them. And you just think, why? You know?
It's to try and justify the cost, because the fact is, let's be honest, they'll turn around and say, "Oh, I'm doing 50 hours this, that, and the other." Fuck off, man. It's all bullshit. We all know it's all bullshit. If you don't know it's all bullshit, then you really need to take a fucking long, hard look at yourself.
Yeah, I mean, comparing it with a band.
Yeah, it's daft. But they'll do it. They'll look, them that want it and them that need it will compare it to fucking whatever it is that they need to justify them doing it. But if you're ever making a YouTube video and you're doing it for the right reasons, you can look at other channels and go, nah.
Especially the channels like Top Hat Gaming, who just take snippets off the internet.
Oh, the rob footage. Yeah,
I mean, it's all footage. All the information's off the internet anyway.
It's Wikipedia in video form.
Or if they want something of an old game like Chef, they'll ask me. They're not creating anything. They're just using some other material. That's costing nothing. So don't con me into thinking that you need money, because you don't. There are people out there in this current climate who've got no work, no money, okay, and working their butts off. People in the NHS, doctors and nurses, that are on next to nothing, and you've got the cheek to come on YouTube and ask your subscribers for money. Go fuck yourself.
I'm quite honest, right? I would never pay a fucking single penny to watch anyone's YouTube video.
No, there's no need to.
No, but then we compare it to Netflix and stuff like that.
Oh, that's the biggest joke ever, isn't it?
You know, they're comparing it to someone that's, in theory, providing me with millions of pounds worth of footage. You know, each one of these fucking films, even the dog shit ones, cost millions of pounds to make. And they're probably charging me, what, 10, 15 quid a month for it. It's as you say, it's a
stupid analogy. The worst analogy ever to compare themselves to some sort of major fucking subscription service. It's a joke. Again, like I said, it all boils down to the justification, right? I don't. Patreon in and of itself isn't a bad thing. It's being abused. If someone said to me, "My house got burnt down," right? Say if Alex said to me, "Look, my fucking games have got burnt down, lads. Like, I've got no camera to record on. All I want is I need 150 quid to get me a camcorder. Would anyone want to chip into my Patreon?" Yes. And then they switch it off, because that's what it's for. To me, it's almost like a mini Kickstarter, isn't it? I mean, my understanding of Patreon was it was actually for the arts, so people sort of commission people or artists to produce a piece of work, like a sculpture or something, and you all chip in.
Yeah, if you're creating something physical, something tangible.
I don't know. But to me, it just looks like it's been fucking abused.
But I mean, advertising is different. If you want to put advertising, you're not asking.
Oh, advertising is taken from the man. Right, yeah. I don't mind that. I've always said that, Alex.
Yeah.
Right. As part of the YouTube platform, is if you're able and you're capable, take the fucking adverts, take it. But the big change and the big influx of the Patreon was when they did the apocalypse, where they started adjusting all the algorithms, and a lot of people started getting pissy because they weren't getting the money for sitting at home making videos.
Yeah,
and that's where Patreon kicked in. Then they started abusing the Patreon. They're starting to abusing the Ko-fi thing now. Buy me a coffee. The Ko-fi thing.
Yeah, that's bollocks.
Kofi wasn't designed to pay your fucking mortgage or your fucking rent. It's designed to get you a cup of coffee. But they all abuse it.
There's people out there that are that gullible that will always do it.
Of course they will do, mate. A fool is money are soon parted, and none greater than the fucking YouTube fucking platform. I'll tell you that much.
What I can say is, I think it's going to be something that's never going to be agreed on by all. That's for sure. I guess there are some people.
It's always been about the community. It's all just about friendship, community.
It should be. It should be, mate. Boil it back down to its fucking basic level. A common understanding, a common appreciation of playing fucking games and sharing your hobby, sharing your collections, and talking to like-minded people. Why the fuck? A definition of community is, what? So what is people's definition of a community? Like to take them with your mates then?
What I'd say, and let's be the final thought on Patreon, right? If Patreon all of a sudden became not allowed to be associated with YouTube, or the money came out of YouTube, if any of these if any of these guys carried on making videos, then I'd believe they loved it. And I'll throw it out there. I imagine Chris would probably still be doing his Amstrad stuff if he wasn't getting paid to do it. That is the one thing I will say.
Oh, Chris would, because Chris would.
And I don't want anyone to think this is a personal attack on anyone. It's just a discussion and a debate. I have my feelings. I speak with my wallet. I don't want anyone to. I just didn't like the way the certain individual put out that last video during COVID, and I think it personally rubbed a lot of people up the wrong way. That is for sure. We've run over just 2 hours because I've let you two ramble.
Can I just say one more point?
Go on then.
Just because they've got Patreon doesn't mean I don't stop watching them. Just means I don't give them any money. There are channels out there that have Patreon that I think are good, but I wouldn't give them any fucking money.
Yeah, agree, Alex, agree. And you know what? I watch a lot of toy channels, and it's not rammed down your throat. It's not a fucking a big thing, and it's literally like tagged in at the last thing at the end of it.
Exactly.
All
right. What I would say is, other than I wouldn't know Chris had a Patreon unless I went looking for it. He doesn't really mention it or force it down your throat. No, he's mentioned in the scrolls on his streams because Chris knows I watch his streams. But I think it's more aimed towards them who do individual videos to promote it or mention it. Mention it every beginning of video, every end of video. That's just me, my final sound. I think it probably depends how it's used and how it's presented, which probably rubs a lot of people up the wrong way. But anyway, we've run over. I'm busting for a piss. So I'd like to thank you all for being on for sure. And if we can leave on a positive, a nice note from you both, obviously Stu first and Alex.
Me first. I don't know, like what in terms of
just a nice message to everyone who's fucking watching.
A nice message. Don't be a cunt.
Well, that's me out then, innit, really?
I think if you want to be successful on YouTube, you've got to get a tanning room.
Yeah.
No, seriously, guys.
You're out then. And get a decent haircut.
If you're passionate about the games, then just do it, man. It's a lot of fun, YouTube. It's a lot, and you meet so many great people out there. There's so many nice people. We've talked about
just do it for the right reasons, man. Just do it for the right reasons.
There's so many
Chris,
people.
I can answer that for him. You're 100% still mates.
Oh, Chris, yeah, man. Don't worry about
that. But thanks for both being on for the second time, man. I hope you've both enjoyed it. It's good to have a little bit of a debate, man. And I'm going to throw it out there, man. If you're one of these people who support Patrons who haven't been on my stream and want to come in and debate it, I'll make sure you're not attacked in the fucking comments because I look after all my guests, that's for sure. I'm going to drop you guys backstage while I just do my parting message. Good night. Right, guys. I know that I don't want to say heated because, it was tried to kept as impersonal as possible, but they're two passionate guys who've been around the YouTube a long time and they want to air their views. Again, I keep an eye on the comments. I tried to make sure it's not a personal attack, But sometimes we need to debate these things, you know, and Patreon is going to be a divisive thing on YouTube. Always is going to be, you know, no one's right, no one's wrong. You're all able to make up your own minds and make your own choices. I hope you've all been enjoying tonight. Clearly so, because I had 61 viewers, which is a new high for the stream. Thank you all for watching and viewing. I should be back tomorrow. I can't guarantee because I've not read my text. Well, I have tried to check my text messages, but I haven't checked. So I could be back tomorrow. I hope you've all enjoyed. I hope you'll all join again. We don't always talk about Patreon. We don't always talk about the controversial topics, but it does get brought up sometimes, you know. But we do, I guarantee, talk a lot about video games. So I hope you've all enjoyed it. Please leave me a like. It does mean a lot to me. Leave me a thumbs down because I'm the sort of person who genuinely doesn't give a fuck anyway. So good night to you all. See you tomorrow.